One thing that frustrates me about some people who respond to my videos either with video responses or they leave comments is that they assume that their morality or moral code is universal, or at least universal among black people. So when these people make video responses to me or they leave comments to me, they won't bother to come up with counter arguments. They'll just say, you know you're wrong, you're lost, you're brainwashed. If you think those are good responses, then here's what I want you to do. I want you to go join a debate team. And I think you'd win every single match because all you have to do is say, you're wrong, you're lost, you're brainwashed. As a matter of fact, you wouldn't even need to give the other team a turn to talk because you can start off your opening arguments by saying, you know what, you're lost, you're brainwashed, and you know you're wrong. People who have to resort to those type of responses either can't back up what they say, have never had to back up what they say, or they assume that I have the same moral code as they do and they think that I'm just rebelling against it. People, and more specifically black people, get away with making arguments like this because they're based on two things that most American black people feel are sacred. It's the two R's, race and religion. Most black people in this country have a belief in a higher power, and for most black people that is God or Jesus Christ or whatever, Christianity, whatever you want to call it. Most black people have an idea of what's right and wrong based on the doctrine in the Bible or whatever their specific denomination says. They believe that any behavior or point of view that contradicts their religious doctrine is indefensible. In other words, they believe they are holding a coin to which there is no other side. So, since most black people accept the Bible or Jesus or God on some level, if two black people are debating an issue and the Bible speaks on that issue, the person who is arguing the side that the Bible supports, all they usually have to do is throw the Bible up in the other person's face and the other person will back off. Well, sometimes the second person will come back with something like, well, I don't believe that's what the Bible meant, or the Lord doesn't expect us to be perfect, or the Lord ain't through with me yet, or as Steve Harvey says, I ain't that good a Christian yet. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make is that most black people take it for granted that other black people believe in God. So when they meet a black person that says something that doesn't coincide with their religion or their beliefs, then they throw the Bible at you and it just bounces off because you don't believe in that, then you just yank their whole entire argument right out from under them. So the only thing left for them to say is, well, you know in your heart this is wrong, you just don't want to accept it. They don't go through the trouble of actually trying to formulate an argument as to why you're wrong because their argument was the Bible. And when you don't accept that, then they don't know where else to go. So they try to throw this guilt trip on you that you know what's right, but you're just not accepting it. Then they go on their way actually thinking that they rebutted you, and they didn't. Okay, let's move on to issue number 2, race. Most black people are aware of unspoken rules, or maybe they are spoken, but anyway, certain rules that as a black person you're not supposed to do, you're not supposed to think, you're not supposed to say. And if you do, say, or think these things, you're going to draw fire. An example of this is the first thing I talked about, religion. Most black people are expected to have either a belief in God or some higher power. Another example, and I've said this before and I'll say it again. Some of the black men here on YouTube, I don't know what percentage, but some of the black men here on YouTube who have nothing but negative things to say about black women are actually men who just have an aesthetic preference for women of other races, and they feel conflicted about that. Why? Because there's a not so unspoken rule that if a black person has a choice between something black and something that's not black, and they choose the not black, that it's wrong or that there's something wrong with them. And this is something I started to ask myself a few months ago. Is it wrong? And if it is, why is it wrong? But anyway, the point I'm trying to get to is that when I made my videos about whether or not it's self-hate to change your black features, I got responses from people who didn't bother to debunk any of the points that I made. They just responded with, it's wrong and you know it's wrong. You're brainwashed. You're self-hating. First of all, let's talk about the it's wrong and you know it's wrong. Okay, it's wrong based on what? The Bible? To my knowledge, the Bible doesn't even address this issue. If you know a Bible verse that discusses this, or know a Bible verse that could be applied to this, then please bring it to my attention. Not that I believe in the Bible or anything, but at least I would know where you're coming from saying that it's wrong. But anyway, about a week and a half ago, I was having an exchange with someone in the comments of one of my videos, And I realize why some black people see changing your black features as a moral issue. It all goes back to religion. If you believe that you were created by a higher being and that higher being created you just the way he wanted you, then that would explain why you believe that changing those features is wrong. But I cannot respect this arbitrary, and I repeat, arbitrary morality, because you do not apply this morality across the board. You pick and choose what is supposed to be left natural based on really nothing but your own personal agenda. For the record, I know why I have the African features that I have, and it has nothing to do with God making me or wanting to make people of all beautiful different colors. My features are a reaction to the environment that my ancestors evolved in. Nothing more, nothing less. But let's get back to the God argument. If God made you just the way he wanted you, stop shaving your underarm hair. God put hair under there because he wanted hair under there, so just leave it. Also, ears, lips, noses, septums, eyebrows, tongues were not made with holes in them for you to hang little dangly things in them. If God had intended for earrings to be in those body parts, he would have put earrings in those body parts, or at least maybe put some holes in them. Oh, and what about men who get vasectomies and women who get their tubes tied? You don't need to get your tubes tied. You will naturally stop having children when God intends for you to stop having children, and it's called menopause. The only body modification that I can think of that is backed up biblically is circumcision. And I'll specify male circumcision, not female. Oh, and here's another one that I should have brought up with piercing, tattooing. Have you got a problem with tattoos? Now I know some of you are thinking, well, you can't compare perming your hair to getting a tattoo or tying your tubes or piercings. Why not? Body modification is body modification. And if body modification is wrong in one instance, it's wrong in all instances. Don't flip-flop back and forth based on what suits you or what fits your agenda. If Jesus made you the way he wanted you with exactly what he wanted you to have, why are you shaving stuff off? There is absolutely no reason to shave your underarm hair. There is no reason to pierce your ears or get a tattoo. And finally, I'll throw in there's no reason to perm your hair. There's no reason to do any of these things unless you want to. Somebody's probably saying, well, when you get your hair perm, you put chemicals on your scalp, and that's not good for you. Don't change arguments in mid-debate. We're talking about body modification. You're saying that God made you the way he wanted you, so changing yourself is wrong. If you want to make the chemical argument, then make the chemical argument, but leave God out of it. In my personal opinion, the chemical argument is the best argument against perming. Oddly enough, people who make the chemical argument don't seem to have a problem with tattooing, which is basically putting ink into your skin. Some people are saying, but people don't get tattoos to try to be white. Up. Do not change arguments in mid-debate. If you want to make the trying to be white argument, make the trying to be white argument, but leave God and chemicals out of it. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up because it's not my intention to open the hair issue up again. Because as other people have said, hair is a non-issue compared to some of the other things we need to deal with. Changing the texture of your hair or any other feature is not a moral issue. A person can do whatever they want to their own body as long as they're willing to accept the consequences. Also, if you're going to respond to my videos, make a counter argument. You know you're wrong, you're brainwashed, and you're lost is not an argument.